Sox. But it wasn't at the behest of someone like Altuve or Bregman or Yuli Gurriel. It was the unsung heroes. It was J.J. Matijevic hit his first Major League home run. It was Mauricio Dubon adding, and behind a solid 5-inning start by Cristian Javier. We'll talk about this on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett Htown Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked On Astros, and we are your daily Astros podcast. My name is Htown Wheelhouse. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. I'm flying solo this week. Tomorrow, check out the show. We will have one of the members of the Astros player development. We'll talk about a special Houston Astro player who's having a great season. We'll talk about the Astros development. We want you to know that this episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. This was a great game tonight, and I know that it looked like the Astros were in command early, and the White Sox tried to scratch across some make it fun runs. And they did. They made it a game, and, that's what they do. Major League Baseball teams compete, and there are a couple different storylines. The storyline of Cristian Javier, his 5 innings, the first Major League home run by J.J. Matijevic, the kid Ryland Freeman, who caught the ball, actually reached out to him and tried to get him on, but him and his family had plans tonight. So it was a good all-around game. It was fun to watch. I do like when ESPN takes over the games. I love that Jose Altuve was mic'd up for the Sunday night game. That was great to see that. And we'll thank you all for the Happy Father's Day wishes. I appreciate it. Corey Favors says, Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and all the single mothers who had played a role as a father in someone's life. Good evening, guys. Happy Father's Day, Brett. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Hey, and look at this. We got a true fan of the show. T. Bradley says, I'm enjoying a tasty Built Bar. That's right. We're enjoying some tasty victories as well. Johnny Munoz comes in early. He says, the most difficult part of our Astros schedule is coming up. 9 straight versus New York teams. I'll be happy with the 5-4 record. I'll be over the moon if the Astros go 6-3. Hey, I would love for us to go 7-2. I'll take you one step further there. So anyways, let's get into this tonight. We'll get into the J.J. Matijevic home run. We'll get into what the kid who caught the ball, kind of his little backstory, where he came from. He was part of a pretty good baseball team himself. But in the first inning, you had the Astros. They got 3 hits, and they scored 1 run. Altuve, Bregman, and Tucker all got hits, and they got on base. And when you leave a guy on second and third, you only score 1 run, you start to think, well, hold on. What's going to happen the rest of the way? Are they just going to strand runners? Is this going to be another game where they don't really take care of business? And it wasn't one of those games. They would basically go 1 for 2 in their first 2 runners in scoring position at bats. It ended with a J.J. Matijevic called out on strikes pitch, which was questionable. Immediately, Alex Cintron came to his aid and argued in such a way that got him thrown out of the game. Kind of motivated his hitter, I would say, because his next at bat, he would hit a home run. So the Astros stranded runners second and third in the first inning. Cristian Javier got 2 strikeouts in his first inning of work. His total work package was 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts on 93 pitches. So not bad, not ultra efficient. You hate to see those 4 walks, but at the same night, at the same time, you had the bats swinging a little bit. So we had the first inning where they scored 1 run. Then later on, The fourth inning, J.J. Matijevic hit his first major league home run. Fourth inning to make it a 2-run ball game. That home run was right into the Crawford boxes. Now, this kid Rylan Freeman who caught the ball, okay, he was a part of, and Johnny Munoz texted this to me, well, not texted, but he sent me this on Twitter, and he basically said that that kid is wearing a CC London baseball shirt. If he was on their team this season, he was a part of the 3A state championship team. So if anybody from Corpus Christi, London is listening, congratulations on that state title. And Rylan, congratulations on the great catch. I mean, this kid racked up. He got 6 tickets to an Astros game. He got 6 batting practice passes. He got a Jose Altuve signed ball. And he also asked for Justin Verlander's signed jersey. Justin Verlander signed a jersey of his in the dugout. They sent it to the kid. And then at the end of the game, J.J. Matijevic said, "Hey, guess what? If the kid wants a bat, I'll sign a bat and give it to him." So, Rylan, if you're watching, I know we reached out to you. We tried to get you on the show. I know you and your family got plans. Y'all are in town, probably on vacation. Happy Father's Day to your father, your grandfather, those men in your life. But yeah, hit J.J. Matijevic up. Hit him up on Instagram. I'm sure he will be glad to oblige you. That was his offering. And that's something I kind of want to talk about, because some people really had a hard time with the fact that they listed all of the things that he got, and they're like, "Oh, these people are greedy. They should just give the ball to him." Well, here's the deal. As a fan, that's now your baseball, and if you're going to give it back, look, if a fan wants to give something back out of their own volition and not ask for anything, that's their prerogative. Now, if they go in there saying, "Oh, I want 10 grand for the ball," or something ridiculous, it's like, come on, that's a bit much. But a lot of times these clubs, and I don't know if the Astros do it, but I know these clubs will kind of strong arm people sometimes. They might just kind of say, "Hey, that's our ball, we want it back," and try to lowball anything. But what I would do as a player, because my wife asked me, she goes, "What would you have asked for?" I said, "I would have asked for a bat, not the bat he used. I would have asked for a jersey signed by J.J. Matijevic, and I would have asked for some sort of like tickets to the game or batting practice where I could, meet some of my favorite Astros." And we found out his favorite Astros was Justin Verlander, and he did a little impromptu interview with Brian McTaggart on Twitter. If you follow Brian McTaggart on Twitter, I'd encourage you to watch that. It's really cool. He basically talked about how he emulates Justin Verlander, how he's his idol, how all his stretching, all his workouts he models after him. And so it's really good when the team steps up and does that for the fans. I don't think it's selfish of the kid. Some people said, "Oh man, he went low." I would have gone lower. I would have never asked for a Justin Verlander jersey, thinking there's no way I would get it. Right here, Guy Webster says, "I totally agree, Locked On. He gave it back. You got to give the dude some swag." Yeah, I mean, this kid could have like held on to it, could have held it for ransom. I mean, now, no offense, it's not a Jeremy Pena rookie first home run, or Julio Rodriguez, like some of these more sought after players, more popular players, but it is a major league first for him. And JJ said after the game that he's going to be giving it to his father. His dad is a firefighter. And thank you for your service, Mr. Matijevic. Thank you for serving the local community where you live. And he got home from his shift right before JJ hit that home run. I thought that was so awesome to hear that. And so we're here today, and this episode is brought to you by Bet Online, but I want to talk to you about AG1. AG1 is a plant-based product. It is a health product, and if you are into getting your health right, getting your gut issues in line, just feeling better about yourself, having more energy, and you're tired of all the pills, maybe you're taking a ton of vitamins, maybe you have this really expensive regime of like health products you take. Well, look, I'm no health expert, but I take AG1. It's one delicious scoop that I'm absorbing, and you could be absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods probiotics, and antigens to help you start your day right. The special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things. And see, AG1's great for me. With this podcast 5 days a week, on top of my responsibilities as a father, as a husband, just as a friend in life, and all the things I do, AG1 gives me that energy, and I appreciate it for that. It doesn't cost you $100 a day. Like the founder of this, he was spending $100 a day on health products. He wasn't going anywhere. It was like he was on a health treadmill. He wasn't going anywhere. You're investing in this. It's all-in-one nutritional insurance. And they have over 7,000 five-star reviews. I mean, they're recommended by professional athletes, trusted health experts such as Tim Ferriss and Michael Gervais. Well, let me tell you, to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/MLB Network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/MLB Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate nutritional insurance today. Now, with that being said, I want to make sure that you guys know that coming up is the draft special, the draft experts for the NBA. The place to be is going to be here on YouTube. Locked on NBA. They're going to have all the guests from all the shows. Jackson Gatlin from Locked on Rockets is going to be there, so check it out. Let me get to some of y'all's comments. Locked on Astros, say it with me. Hashtag Altuve is the New York Yankees daddy. That's right. Jose Altuve. We wish Jose Altuve a happy Father's Day and a happy virtual Father's Day because he is the Yankees daddy. And so it is one of those cool things. Johnny brings back up Corpus Christi, London. He said they used to be in our baseball district when they were 2A. They always kicked the you-know-what out of us. So that's apparently a little storied franchise there. That's great to know. Right here, let's see this. How do we say JJ's last name? Please help. It's Matijevic. Matijevic is how you say his last name, and I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to sound. That's how I've heard it said, and I'm really hoping that that I'm not butchering that, but that's how everyone's seen it. So let's do this. Let's look at Baseball Savant here. Let me pull this up. I usually got Eric here helping me. Eric is away, but Cristian Javier, great game today. 10 swings and misses. Ryan Stanek had 3. Ryan Presley had 3. Rafael Montero had 2. Just a great job by all our pitching staff. And if you watch the game, if you listen to the game, I want to talk a little bit about that, but I want to harken back to the hitting. I want to go back to the first at bat that you had by Alex Bregman. He was 1 for 4 today. First at bat, scored the ball up really well, but all his other at bats, he did have 2 strikeouts. There was one pitch that was just an unhittable pitch. I don't know anybody could have hit it, but he swung at it. It was a high slider. He was under it. But he's just getting under everything. And Eduardo Perez talked about it on the show. And Eduardo Perez, I had the honor of meeting him. I don't know what the year was. He was 99 or 2000. It was when Woody Williams was pitching with the Cardinals. And to make a long story short, I was going to a game. I was in town. I was a youth pastor. I was in town for this big youth pastor convention in Phoenix. And a friend of mine, I had forgotten, was a pastor in Mesa, Arizona. Well, him and Woody grew up together. So I got a hold of him and we talked, and he said, hey, do you want to go to the game with me on Sunday? I said, well, I have tickets. He goes, oh, cool. Well, why don't you hang out with us afterwards? We'll let you hang out with us and go down to the clubhouse. And I'm like, down to the clubhouse, like where the Cardinals are? He goes, yeah. So I got to go down to the clubhouse with these guys under the stadium seats at what was Bank One Ballpark at the time. I don't know if it's the JP Morgan Chase Field. I don't know what it's called out there in Arizona. And I stood outside the clubhouse doors, and I got to meet Albert Pujols, Jim Edmonds, Chris Carpenter. Eduardo Perez was one of the guys. And Eduardo Perez stopped and talked to us for like 10 minutes. He was the nicest guy. The reason why I tell you that story is because Eduardo Perez was talking tonight how Bregman and him were talking about a swing. And Bregman's like, I just don't know what to do. I'm really trying. I'm really working hard, but I keep getting, he said, I'm a tick too soon. In other words, I keep getting too quick. And this is what he said. He said, why don't you use your back foot as a rudder and kind of drag that back foot a little bit, make that tick a little bit longer to get you more leveled out. And I was like, that's pretty cool. If you don't know this, Eduardo Perez actually was one of our coaches in 2013 with the Houston Astros. He's very knowledgeable. I'm surprised he hasn't landed a coaching job since then. Yeah, so Johnny hit the nail on the head here. He says Bregman said that his foot's too early. Yeah, he's just a little too quick to the plate. Right here, Breggy had a particularly frustrating game, rough start, rough stuff. But as my buddy Javi said earlier, he hits on the good pitchers. He does. He hits on the good pitchers. He does, guys. He does get on base. I mean, he gets on base and he draws a lot of walks, and so you love to see that. There were a couple plays, a couple things in the Astros game that really things could have fallen apart. The ball hit to left field that careened off of the Crawford box scoreboard in a weird way. I've never seen a ball jump like that and threw off Brantley, scored one of their runs. There was a ball out to Chas McCormick that he dove. And Eduardo Perez talked about that as well. He said what he should have done is taken more of a rounding angle and come in at it at an angle. And he said he might not have had to jump, or if he would have jumped, he would have probably jumped into the ball with the ball in his glove. But he said those are all split-second decisions. It's easy for us to say in the booth. It's a lot different when you are out there on the field doing that. But I really think that the Houston Astros, they win the series 2-3. I think they needed this. They have an off day. And the Astros going into the New York Mets series, it's only 2 games, but it's at home. I think they'll do fine. They do have one day game in there, which is Wednesday. And so they've got 2 day games. I'm gonna try and pull that up to see who we are facing, because I thought I looked it up earlier, but I don't know our matchups here as of late. But what do y'all think? I put out a poll that talked about if you had one relief pitcher to put on the All-Star roster, who would you put? Would it be Ryan Stanek? Would it be Rafael Montero? Would it be Ryan Presley? Would it be Sean Martinez? Would it be Brian Abreu or Hector Neris? Now, those are 6 guys. And I think more than one will make it. But if you could only pick one, who would be the guy that you would pick? Who would you go for? And a lot of people said Stanek. And you know what? A lot of people also said Rafael Montero. I said Sean Martinez, but he hasn't pitched as many games, right? The Houston Astros have an opportunity to send more than 1 or 2, but I want to see what you guys think. I'm going to look on the board and see if I can throw some names up here, see if anyone's brave enough to go with just one person. Who do y'all think? All right, we got one who says, I say Stanek, Guy Webster. Anybody else willing to go out there? Oh, look at this. Seth Martinez, even with only 10. Oh, look at this. Hector Neris is out there. Okay, Mr. Dominguez. T. With my listening. And you're listening to this on a Monday after the Astros series win. Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Astros. I'm Htown Wheelhouse. I'll be going solo this week. Just say it out loud in the car on your way to work. Who do you want to go? Who do you want to go? Who do you think deserves out of this relief corps? We have another Montero. I love that guy. He's great. Seth Martinez, dude, he's earning his stripes. He is a solid pickup. Seth Martinez. So on Tuesday, we have Jose Urquidy versus a pitcher we don't know yet. It's to be determined. Urquidy is one of those guys. Is he the odd man out? Is he the pitcher that the Astros decide that they want to trade him? I don't know. I really liked him since he's been here, but at the same time, I just don't know what staying power he has. And then Wednesday is Luis Garcia. Wednesday is a 1:10 start. Tuesday is a 7:10 start. So we have Urquidy versus Garcia, and I don't know what the lineup is. I have heard from Eric the Man Heisman that Max Scherzer is supposed to return. And if he returns, okay, will he return during the Astros series? Man, that would be kind of cool. Well, no, let's save the coolness for other teams for Scherzer to return. I don't want to see that guy because he's probably going to come back all mad and ticked off, and his brown and blue eye is going to just get so upset. Oh, look at this. Heavy J goes, Montero. Like he yelled it. Like he's all on with Montero. Scott Waldo says Montero. So I can't create a poll right now because I only got two hands right now, but it looks like Montero might win this poll. Oh, hey, what's up, Mr. Corona? Mr. Corona's in. He says Urquidy throws strikes. If his stuff is not on, he gets hit a lot. He's very hittable. He doesn't have high velocity now. He can throw 93, 94. Every once in a while, throw 95. And when he gets that and his fastball is rising, he gets a lot of swings and misses. But he is very hittable. And so with that being said, I want to give you another word from one of our sponsors, and that is Bet Online. And after we talk about Bet Online, we're going to talk about Yordan Alvarez and what's going on with him. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs and Major League Baseball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. And BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device and learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. So thank y'all for tuning in. And it looks like we've got the New York Mets. But what is it that we want to find out about Yordan Alvarez? At first, I thought they were being a little shady because they weren't really saying anything. But the official word is that he is day-to-day with a hand injury. It's undisclosed, which he suffered during a swing into a double play in the seventh inning. Alvarez wasn't available for comment prior to the game. Now, this is actually accurate. He did say that it was his hand, but he didn't want to reveal that info. He said his hand during the game or before the game. They played a Dusty Baker sound clip, and he said something about there's a little bit of swelling and that he may be available in the New York series Tuesday or Wednesday. So at first I heard Dusty Baker say he could come off the bench today, but then that quickly changed to he'll probably be back Tuesday. So there's really no need in this game, especially if you're winning. Yordan Alvarez, we don't need to come in and save a game and make sure we maintain that huge lead we have in the West. So I think it was pretty pointless if they say, let's bring in Alvarez today. But yes, he did say that he might play in Tuesday's game. You don't want to rush it. You don't want to mess with hand injuries. You don't want to mess with hand injuries with a guy that is definitely the best left-handed hitter, I think, in the game right now. Now, a couple other updates. Aledmys Diaz, he exited on the 18th game against the White Sox with left shoulder discomfort, an injury that he said he originally suffered while diving for a ball earlier in the week in Arlington. I remember that. He expects to be available in a few days. So you may see Diaz, you may see him come back. Now, question, what if JJ Matijevic gets hot? What if he starts doing some crazy good things out there and then he becomes a guy you can go to? Do they send someone like Jose Siri down and give JJ reps? I don't know. He's 1 for 9 now in his career. He got the home run. He got off the schneid. He got his first hit. That was his first major league hit. His first major league hit was a home run. So good job and great for him. Jake Odorizzi is still a late June return. That is all we know there. On Tuesday, Odorizzi will be back on the mound fielding balls hit into play, which may be the final activity before being sent to his minor league rehab assignment. So from Tuesday on, we should know where Jake Odorizzi is going to go. Now, Pena's injured thumb while trying to make the diving catch on the 13th against the Rangers in Arlington. MRI revealed no serious damage. And speaking with reporters on the 17th, Pena said that his thumb was sore and had inflammation, but he was relieved he didn't injure the left wrist he had surgery on last year. He said, I hit my thumb on the ground and I thought it was my wrist at first, but it was not my wrist. We're going to give it some time to see how it recovers. Now, his expected return, according to MLB.com, says late June. You may or may not see him late in the Yankees series. If you don't have to have him, there's no point of rushing these guys. Oh, series out of options. I wasn't aware of that. Okay. Thank you, Astro Wolf Craig. He said series out of options. Wow. Okay. Wasn't aware of that. Nah, well, the more you know. Bloom, bloom, bloom. See, here's the thing at Locked On Astros. We don't ever profess to know everything. I know, like, we are literally the only daily Astros podcast. We're the most downloaded Astros podcast, and we take that with great pride. But also sometimes we may misspeak. We may make mistakes, but there's no way we can know everything. And so we appreciate you while you're listening to us live, that you're correcting me so that I can then tell the listening audience, hey, this is what's going on. So I don't spread disinformation or whatever. So it's just one of those things where the Houston Astros are sitting pretty in Major League Baseball. They maintain a commanding lead in the AL West. That hasn't gone anywhere. All you got to do is keep winning series. The AL West is going to take care of itself. If you look at the standings right now, the Houston Astros have a 9.5 game lead on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I still call them Anaheim Angels, who is 3 games under 500. We're the only team. We're at 621 winning percentage. We're 41-25. Houston Astros are 41-25, and they are pretty much leading for one of the top seeds. Now, the question is this. The Yankees are 49-17. We have a better record than Minnesota, so we have number 2 seed right now. If we go to the season with the number 2 seed, we've never played New York Yankees without home field advantage. Every playoff series we've played them in, we've had home field advantage, and it's worked to our advantage. The way this team is playing this year for the Yankees, you want them to stumble a little bit. And once they go out on the road a little bit more, I think you're going to start seeing them lose more games than they've been. I mean, they're like 9-1. They actually just lost one, but they only have 8 more wins than we do. So if we can catch the Yankees and we can be the number 1 seed, we can force that home field advantage and keep that throughout the AL playoffs. And then hopefully that would give us, I think, if we were to jump the Yankees, that would give us the best record in the major leagues, because the Dodgers have 40 wins, Milwaukee has 38 wins, and the Mets have 44 wins. So right now, the Houston Astros have the 3rd best record in the league. If the Mets were to make it to the World Series, they would have home field advantage versus us. But if we were to make it to World Series right now with the Dodgers as our opponent, we would have home field advantage because they only have 40 wins. So I love it. I love talking numbers. I know y'all, oh, it's too early. It's June 19th or it's June 20th when I'm listening. You know what? It's never too early to talk about the playoffs for this team, because this is a playoff-riddled team, and that's a good thing. Right here, Johnny says Yankees and Astros, number 1 and number 2 in record when it comes to 1-run wins. Wow, look at that, Johnny the stat man. I have to get you to be one of our producers. And Mr. Corona, don't they have an easy schedule? They have had an easy schedule. Yes, and then the Dodgers have lost Mookie Betts to broken ribs. So, I mean, it's a long baseball season, boys and girls. And I'm under no illusion that the Angels, I don't know, do you think they could catch fire again? I said mid-May, we take the AL West, we take lead, and we don't relinquish it. I just don't see that happening. I mean, this team, as inconsistent as this offense has been, like when Astros Nation is complaining about the only 3.4 runs per game or whatever it is right now, that this offense isn't as high powered. Our holes are really big holes, are bigger than they've ever been, and all the kind of hemming and hawing because we're used to averaging 5-6 runs a game. This club is still the 2nd best record-wise team in the American League. You give me a healthy roster, you give me a healthy pitching staff, Lance McCullers Jr., you give me a healthy Jake Myers, you give me a healthy 1 through 9 lineup, I'll put that against the Yankees any day. The Yankees have to prove that they can beat the Astros in the playoffs. You can be a great regular season team, but can you do it in the playoffs? Now, the Astros, I want them to get to that next step. We need to get back to the 2017 World Series championship level. I personally am not just satisfied with an ALCS appearance. I'm not satisfied with the World Series appearance, and you shouldn't be either. This team, because the Astros, what the Astros want? They want a World Series title. They're not going to be like, hey, here's the deal. We'll just go to our sixth ALCS. We'll be a legendary team. No, they don't want that. They want to be first. And right here, Mr. Craig says pitching, pitching, pitching. That's right. We have been stellars when it comes to pitching. And like Mr. Corona said, people want offense. Offense is exciting. Offense makes you think there's nothing wrong. But here's the thing, and Eric covered this wisely as I had covered it before. We're like third or fourth in home runs, but we're still 20th or 19th no, we're fourth or fifth in home runs, but we're like 20th or 21st in runs scored, 20th or 25th in RBI. So that has to flip a little bit. That has to change. We have to get that, be in the top 15, top 10, so that we're top 5 home runs. I want to see us top 10 in runs scored. That needs to go up because the Yankees and these other clubs are scoring a ton of runs. So at the end of the day, I will answer this one last question and then we will wrap it up here. Need an addition. Pitching, question mark. Hitting, question mark. I think they're going to go after a bat. I really do. It would be funny that once James Click said we're going to go after a bat and trade a starting pitcher, it would be hilarious if you started seeing more consistent high run output games from the Astros. That would just be so Houston Astros of them. Maybe a little psychological ploy there by James Click. But it sounds to me like they've got their eyes on a hitter. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if it's like a Josh Bell or a Reynolds type of player. Gosh, I don't even know. Like someone asked me like, well, what about Joey Votto? I'm like, I think Joey Votto's declined too much. Like he's a great leader. He's got a cool TikTok, legendary Reds player, but I'm just not 100% sure who we would go out there and trade for and what the price would be. I don't see Contreras coming here. I know he would open up a need and a huge hole there at catching, but we're not going to grab him. At the end of the day, Houston Astros are built to win. They're going to add winning pieces, and they're going to be right in there in the heat of the battle. The New York Yankees need to know that we are poised for the playoffs. And even with our struggles, the Houston Astros, I think, are squared up clearly to be the ALCS representative and the ALCS winner and eventual World Series representative. Let's see, isn't Conforto? Conforto is on the market, but there's something with an injury there, Mr. Corona. I'm not 100% sure. If you're listening, Mr. Corona asked, isn't Conforto out in the market still? He is, but there's something about his injury, his arm or his elbow. I don't know off the top of my head. I would have to look that up. So anyways, that's all I got. There's an off day tomorrow, but tomorrow we have none other than Astros player development personnel. And let me tell you, he is the son of a Houston Astros legend. Okay. You might know him as Dickie Thon. Okay. And he has been working with Dickie Joe Thon has been working in Astros player development for a few years now. And we've talked, and we're going to do a little Mets Astros preview. And then we're also going to do a special show separate of that on the minor leagues and a special player. So one of those two shows will be live. One of those two shows will be premiered and shown. And both of those shows will be sent on audio on Tuesday. So I'm Htown Wheelhouse. Please make sure that you make us your first listen. Eric the Man Heisman is out, so I appreciate you guys. Hey, show up because I don't want to be lonely this week. I don't want to be all by myself. And you need to make sure that the first picks of the Ultimate NBA Draft, mock draft, is right here. The first picks of the Ultimate NBA mock draft have been made. Search now for the Ultimate NBA mock draft and get over 50 insiders, the Odyssey sports experts, the draft experts of Locked On NBA Big Board, The 5-episode Ultimate NBA mock draft is underway. Make the Ultimate NBA mock draft your second listen today after you make us your first listen. So for myself, all of us here at Locked On Astros, the millions around the world who listen to our show, and all the dads out there, and let me just say this. I'll wrap it. This is my final wrap up. Thank you, Dad. I love you. Thank you for giving me my love for baseball. My father taught me to love baseball at a very young age. I was passionate about it, and baseball is a romantic sport to me. When I go to when I go to a stadium, when I play catch with my son, I can't tell you the feeling I get. It's literally almost euphoric, and I know it sounds really lame, but like I love I love the transfer when I'm playing catch from mitt to hand. I think I've got one of the best glove transfers on the planet. But I was a catcher growing up. I was a spray hitter. I hit all parts of the field. But I just love baseball. Baseball has given me so many things in my life, given me so much joy. It's helped shape who I am. It's helped shape my faith. I mean, every aspect of my life is touched by baseball, and that's because my father cultivated that in me. And so, Larry Chancey, if you listen to this and you hear a playback, I love you and I appreciate you, and I hope that I've done well with our family in the time honored tradition of baseball. And this podcast, I keep doing it every day because I know that you're right there supporting me. And Mom, thanks for watching. Thanks for allowing Dad to take me to all the games and us missing all those nights at home growing up, just doing baseball stuff. So I really hope that you men had a great weekend, and here pretty soon I'm gonna become a grandfather, and that's really surreal to me. But I'm so thankful for everything life's given me, everything that the Lord has put in my life, and every one of you listeners. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is the best gig that I've ever had. I'm having the time of my life, and I really hope that we give you the best Astros podcast out there. And I hope that you really see and hear our gratitude every time we take on the mic. We take it with responsibility, with all our hearts. We love you guys. Thank you. Go Astros.